Slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines. Recall that the slope is referred to as the letter M. It's the change in y over the change in x, rise over run, or the slope formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Slopes of parallel lines. In a coordinate plane, two non-vertical lines are parallel if and only if they have the same slope. Any two vertical lines are parallel. Example 1. Find the slope of each line, and then determine if line A is parallel to line B. Line A has a slope of -1/2. Line B also has a slope of -1/2. So yes, we can conclude that line A is parallel to line B because they have the same slopes. Example 2. Find the slope of each line. Is line A parallel to line B? Line A has a slope of 4/7. Line B has a slope of 1/3. The slopes are different, so the lines are not parallel. Example 3. Draw a line that is parallel to line A and passes through point Z. So here's point Z. So line A has a slope of -2/3. So in order to draw a line parallel that passes through point Z, I start on point Z and I go up 2 and to the left 3, up 2 and to the left 3. So now these lines are parallel because they have the same slope. Slopes of perpendicular lines. In a coordinate plane, two non-vertical lines are perpendicular if and only if the product of their slopes is -1. Horizontal lines are perpendicular to vertical lines. When we talk about the slope of perpendicular lines, we talk about their slopes having their product of their slopes as -1, but we also talked about them being opposite reciprocals. So an opposite reciprocal is just this. If I had the slope of -2/3, the opposite of a negative number is a positive number, and the reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2. So the opposite reciprocal of -2/3 is 3/2. And if I were to multiply those two numbers together, I would get -6/6, which is -1. And that's the relationship of the two slopes of perpendicular lines. So in example 4, we're going to find the slope of each line and then determine if A is perpendicular to B. So line A has a slope of 1/5. So in order for the line B to be perpendicular, it needs to have an opposite, so it needs to be a negative number, and the reciprocal of 1/5, which is 5, or 5/1. And of course, if we multiply those together, we could get a -1. So the slope of the line perpendicular to A has to have a -5. Well, line B has a slope of -6, so they are not perpendicular. Example 5, find the slope of each line. Is A perpendicular to B? Well, the slope of line A is 2/5. So to find the opposite reciprocal of 2/5, 2 is a positive number, so the opposite is a negative number, and the reciprocal is 5/2. So -5/2 is the line perpendicular, the slope of the line perpendicular. And line B does have a slope of -5/2, so it is perpendicular. Example 6, draw a line that is perpendicular to line A and passes through point Z. So here's point Z. So line A has a slope of 2. In order to be perpendicular, it needs to be the opposite reciprocal of 2. Well, 2 is 2/1. The opposite of a positive number is a negative number. The reciprocal of 2 is 1/2. So I need to draw a line that has a slope of -1/2. That's going through the point Z. So I start with Z and then go down 1 and over 2. those are the relationships of slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines.